Baby, like she genuine, wanted me in them jeans. Hey, and to that, I might turn a fiend, but not the crack though, cause she really got it out. And if these buzz on the leaves, I might blot it out. Hey, they got a PS5 for sale, hit me. She selling her dude shit. See, I'm trying to say it less too.
Wait, but I never said it. That's the
no,
thing.
I wasn't saying that. I'm doing it. I'm really saying it for me because I'm just trying to like, not even get away from that word, but at least more so. I just want. Fuck it. I'm not really tripping. But like more so like I notice like kids, like they watch everything we do. So it's like in our personal lives, like I think that shit is like you could do whatever you want as personally. But I know like, you know, I might still be explicit and things like that, but I don't know the next generation. Our generation, we look at that word as a term of endearment, but everybody says it. And then Dave Chappelle made a good point, like his comedy show. He was like, oh, well, you can't say the word FAG word, right? And then she was like, why can't I say that? It was like, well, because you're not gay. And then he was like, well, I'm not a nigger either. Feel me? And I was just like, damn. And it's like, I still might do it every once in a while. I don't really trip off when people say it and it's conversational, but I know like the message being put out, I want to do my best to at least be like, okay, I'm gonna catch myself when I'm saying it. It might slip out, you feel me? Cause I've been saying that shit. It's hard to unlearn some shit. Feel me? It's hella hard. I had to stop calling women bitches, and I was like, that was so hard to unlearn.
When did you do that?
I think I was probably like maybe like 18 or 19.
And when did you have that epiphany?
These women from Sacramento came to the Bay. Some beautiful black women. They was like, hair look nice, skin glowing. My two partners pulled up on me with them. Benjamin and Trey Dog. Benjamin in San Diego right now doing his thing. And they pulled up and they was like, this is like when I was in high school, because I've been Stunnaman02 since 2008, or maybe earlier than that. So they pulled up there in front of my house. I'm feeling like that guy, like, you know, I'm looking good, you know, fresh cut. I just graduated high school, buzzing, you feel me? Just, you know when you feel like you gain some notoriety where you from. Saying I had the clout. This when the clout was going to my head. So then they pulled up and they was like, and my homies introduced them. I was like, hey, bruh, these are homegirls, you feel me? They from SAG, you feel me? They know all about you. They smiling. I'm talking about top tier black women, like in high school. They came all the way from Sacramento and they know about Stunnaman02 at 18 years old. And I'm like, oh, what's up with you? And the first thing I say, they smiling, looking at me. First impression, I was like, oh yeah, what's up with you bitches? And then they were just like you could just see them get deflated. Like, wow, like, this is the first time you ever meet me. Like, you could literally, you ever seen somebody, not their heart drop, just like the whole facial expression, just like, wow, that's the first thing you say to me. And then when I noticed it in talking to them, and then I was just like, damn, like, one, that's not even necessarily me, but I was so lost in the sauce at that time that I was just, you know, anything was going, feel me? So I was just flowing with anything. And then I just remember their reaction, and I was like, damn, I gotta stop. It's okay if you want to be called a bitch, you feel me? If that's what you like, you prefer, I could call you a bitch for sure. You know, Too Short, me and him got similar birthdays. We got, feel me? That's my mom's favorite rapper, you know.
But they didn't say anything to you?
Nah, my uncle, it was deaf. Like, that was my main male role model growing up, was my uncle. So, you know, he was deaf, and a lot of times I didn't really get around to learning sign language.
You have a deaf uncle?
Yeah, he passed away.
I have a deaf uncle.
Oh, hey, look at us. We locked in. Hey, we blowing smoke. You hear us back in there? Hey, in the back. Come out here one time, bro.
Yeah, shout out to the homie Jonah.
Jonah, come out one time.
Come on.
Can
Say
we
what's
get
up
you
to
on
the
camera, bro?
man.
Come on, bro.
Test.
One
It's
time, bro.
right?
They don't even know that.
Come on, man. Blowing
what camera
smoke.
We looking at?
It's supposed to be free smoke.
Oh, man.
I got to change the name of the podcast,
It's
I
all
think.
good,
but,
man.
you know, we got Stunnaman02 on the pod
outside
today. And welcome. I appreciate you pulling up.
I appreciate you having
For
me,
real,
bro.
man. We
Thank
both
you
got
for
deaf
responding.
uncles. But
Come on, man.
we got to get back to the story. So I just think it's so...
Yeah,
it's very
crazy.
important to be self-aware.
Got to.
You know what I'm saying? And that moment sounds like you were very self-aware because you had to feel you felt that without them even saying anything to you. You know, like it was just like some body language type shit.
Yeah. So really came being an empath and not knowing that at the time, but learning what that means. You know, empathizing with how people feel. you know. And then on top of that, my uncle, how we communicated was a lot of nonverbal communication. Yeah. You know, I didn't really get around to learning sign language fully. I could pick up things, but our stuff was he could do a movement and I knew exactly what he meant. So that helped me in a lot of phases of my life. It helped me in understanding situations when somebody might say one thing, but you know their nonverbal communication is portraying something else. It helps me a lot in acting.
I mean, a lot of the way we communicate is body language.
Man, I used to do this thing, like I used to study how do you appropriately talk to women, and it's like your game is one thing, but it's also your nonverbal communication, it's your confidence. I mean, women,
posture.
And women love it, and they love confidence, and what they really love is certainty. Certainty, not in an arrogant way, but certainty in a terms of I know what I want and I know how I want to get it. You feel me?
And they're not trying to be called bitches.
Exactly. You feel me? Some do though. Don't get me wrong. And that's the thing. I was talking about this on another podcast. Shout out to Create Studios. But just on Twitter, you know, some women, you know, people are calling them queens now. You feel me? And it's just like in that space, saying like a lot of women say that makes me feel uncomfortable. I kind of like being called a bitch, you know what I mean? And it's like that makes sense because what is a bitch? A bitch is a female dog. And what is a female dog? Usually man's best friend. So I see the terminology, you feel me? So it's that term of endearment.
You just got to connect dots.
You just got to connect the dots. Whatever women feel comfortable, I could call you that, you know what I'm saying?
And also
just let
too,
me know.
I feel like the girls kind of took the power back, you know?
Sure.
Like
they supposed
I'm a boss bitch. That's
exactly.
I'm that bitch. Like
it's like a term of endearment. Like how before we was talking about the N word, like term of endearment. You feel me? Like you can make it whatever you want to make it. That's dope. You know what I'm saying? I just know me as I'm becoming more conscious of things. You know, we all gonna slip up. I might call a young lady a bitch. You feel me? And I don't mean anything negative by it. Or you know, I might be in a space like that and I don't mean it in a negative way. Same way somebody might call me an N word and they don't need me in a negative way. It might be term of endearment. Like I'm rocking with Stunna hard, and it's just like that's okay to a degree where it's like it's not condescending. It's not in a place where I'm trying to dehumanize you. You feel me?
Yeah, it's a time and place, I guess.
For sure, man.
Sometimes you got to read the room and
you got to.
I was gonna say those bitches weren't fucking with it.
Hey man,
I don't. I'm sorry.
Nah, that was comedic timing right there. And that's another thing, we got to stop being so sensitive. In that incident, when I did that, I definitely want to apologize to those women wherever y'all at. There was some beautiful black women. Oh, my God. Skin smooth, hair, 18-year-old Stunna. I'm like, I'm tripping. Want to apologize to those women. But that was comedic timing. And that's why, you know, you can't have the sensitivity level can't be so high all the time because you don't have funny moments like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's hilarious. You know what I mean?
Yeah, do you feel like now in the current space, it's like it's a fine line between all that shit?
Oh, for sure. It's definitely walking a tightrope. You know what I mean? And it's like, you know, back then you can get away with just being aggressively belligerent or aggressively just offensive. And because people come from a place of pain a lot of times, it makes them feel that. It makes them, I'm hurting, so I'm going to laugh at you hurting somebody else. Or, this music or this gesture is causing pain to somebody else, so that makes me feel better. And as we become more conscious and self-aware as a people, you know, I'm not saying everything should be tit-tat, this and that, you feel me? But I also think, like, people are saying, I don't know, you making that joke, it really wasn't that funny, it was more so hurtful. And I think like you see a lot of artists, you know, that you have to be more talented now, not in the sense of, you know, just being like having more, I'm gonna say skill, it's more of, okay, how can I do this where it's still like for a comedian just can't blur out slurs anymore or just do anything overtly offensive, because you feel me, he gonna get washed, he gonna get canceled. But now you have to figure out, okay, how can I entertain these people while still living in this fine line of, okay, that was kind of offensive, but it was hella funny, you know what I'm saying? Like how you just did. That was hilarious. If anybody watching that, they were freaking be rolling, you know what I'm saying? If not, it's just how you taking it too.
Too serious.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole question of this whole thing. It's just like, where do we draw the line? And, you know, with everyone being able to voice their opinion on things and just, you know, I feel like sometimes people don't even really give a fuck. They just really want to express their anger towards something and trying to be like, all right, I see whatever this person doing something, I'm going to just voice my hate on some shit that you did that's really not even like some of the shit people are trying to get canceled for nowadays. It's kind of nuts.
It's wild, and that's why, you know, people got to get hobbies. They need a purpose in life. A purpose in life is important because when you don't have a purpose, you find time to put energy into anything. There's some things might not even concern you, and you want to jump into it and just you want to get that whatever you got going on in your life, you want to get it out. That's why people need a purpose. People need to work out. When you do all of that, you ain't got time to be arguing motherfucker about nothing. You know what I'm saying? If you putting that time in the gym, you feel me? Or you doing something to work your body and your mind out, and you trying to go exert that. Now, if you standing up for a cause that's like, you know, people may not be able to defend themselves, you fighting the bullies, I get that. But it's sometimes it be excessively unnecessary. And it's just like, man, I don't got time to go back and forth with that. So, go ahead.
I didn't mean to interrupt, but
no, you're good.
What's your purpose?
Oh, my purpose is to put positivity in life, the real pushing P, you feel me? You know what I mean? So it's like with that, triple P, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, that's how we moving. And
how do you maintain like the positivity without being corny?
Be real.
You know, because that's like the whole thing of just like, you know, for example, on YouTube, there used to be this space of just like false positivity.
Yeah.
Like where is like being positive but also being realistic? Like how do you balance that?
I think, you know, positivity is, or corny and authenticity are like, they like the anti-synonyms, antithesis of one another. So if you being corny, people could feel it because you're trying to like get a goal out of it. Or like say a woman, you say a corny line to a woman, it might make her laugh, it might make her do this, but it's because you're trying to get something out of it. Like if I want to shoot my shot at a woman, I'm trying to get her number, or I'm trying to do this, or I'm trying to do that, like that part. Or it's the difference between trying and doing, first of all. So then I think that separates. When you're trying, it feels corny. When you're really doing it, it feel like, oh, this shit is dope. Like I could pull up on you and do a joke about, feel me, the Sacramento Kings, or you got purple on, be like, oh, this dude think he royalty because he a king, and then you feel me, but you know a king is a color of purple, you know what I'm saying, or royalty is the color of purple, so I see why you got that on, but you even then, you know what I'm saying, it's like I could spit something off the top of my head, but if I'm authentically saying it, I think it differentiates it from it being corny. And then, you know, corny is like recycled, regurgitated. And then authentic is like when you really come from the heart. And like I learned that because like I used to have lines like real young when I used to just, I see a line off of ATL or like with T.I. and all them in there. I see a line off a movie and I try to say it and I never get the reaction I wanted. But whenever I either paraphrase or just came from the heart, it was always like, how many people you tell that to? Or and I was like, man, that's the first time I ever said that. And that was a segue into becoming an artist, because I noticed like, damn, like I try to say other people's stuff. Even to this day, it's hard for me to memorize other people's music. But when I do my stuff, when I do me, it's like it always feels right. It always feels authentic. You know what I mean? So that was a great question, though, because it is a fine line. At points, I was corny. At points, I would just, oh, yeah, everything is good. Because, you know, a lot of times everything is good, even when it's bad. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I mean, I definitely get the authentic vibe from you.
Thank you. Likewise.
I just know, like, in hip-hop and, you know, the space we're in, like, trying to push that movement, like, a lot of a group will just hate on it and call it corny just because they're uncomfortable with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, people are quick to call positive shit corny, you know, but just to throw salt on it because, I mean...
You gotta have a good counter argument too, and I got a good counter argument. You feel me? So it's
for
like,
sure.
So it's like when I be positive, I do it because I don't want to put myself in a situation to not only rub somebody the wrong way, but in a possibility to lose my freedom. And I know that's what hip hop be in now times. Like people want to be on that drama. I'm not with that. I'm with, let's get around some women, let's have a good time. But if somebody want a problem, like it's really like, okay, let's get down, let's have some fun. Like I like to dance, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you gotta have your good counter argument to all that corny shit.
For sure. I
you
mean,
feel me?
Well, jacked as hell.
Man, it ain't even about that. It's just growing up where you grow up. And I took karate, then I took capoeira, then I took boxing, and then from that point, you know, finding out who Martin Luther King was, and he talking about he a pacifist, and I'm like, why is he a pacifist? This is real young, like 6 years old, and he's like, he don't want to harm people. And I'm like, oh, I grew up in a house of love. Even despite the conditions we grew up in, it was like real like love. So it's like I see love for each person, like genuinely, like, oh, I fuck with you, I love you, you know what I'm saying? Even if you have some envy or jealousy toward me, I'm gonna have to distance myself, but I still got love for you. That don't mean I hate you. So in that, you feel me, getting to a point where I was coming outside in my neighborhood with that and getting bullied to a point, and I was like, man, you know, I can still lead with love, but let me stand up for myself. Let me not let anybody just walk all over me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let me, you know what I mean? Just learning and seeing both sides of the spectrum.
Yeah, because I was listening to one of the podcasts you had out, and you're basically, you called yourself a square.
Yeah, for sure. What? You know what I'm saying? I'm a box. I'm really like I'm a three-dimensional individual. You know, I'm multiple squares. You feel me? We 3D with it.
I fuck with that.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Because you're kind of taking the negative aspect of just like being called a square. It's like a nerd. It's like being called a nerd.
You know who C-Lee is?
Yeah.
Yeah, so C-Lee, he really coined it. You know what I'm saying? But he's like one of the most coolest squares ever. You feel me? And that is something that in our neighborhood or where we come from, we don't never necessarily pat on the back. We pat people on the back, maybe doing these negative things, but you know, we never say like, damn, shout out to that person for, we do, but not as much as we should. Shout out to that person for putting their head in the book. Or it's
definitely a barrier you got to break, or
exactly,
like, you know, because people are definitely going to hate. I seen like Meek Mill post a tweet or something like dudes in the hood will roast you for getting a camera, you know, just trying to be a cameraman and trying to like build a, you know, a legal business.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
That's just the feel me, not the desensitize, or excuse me, that's just the, what is it? I'm trying to think of the word, but that's just that's just years and years and years of putting the wrong type of mentality into our culture. That's just years of just, you know, teaching us and training us and the conditioning. That's the conditioning of it, to see like, you know, because back in the day, like NWA, right before NWA, Public Enemy was one of the biggest hip hop groups. But after that, these labels with these crazy budgets invested into this gangster rap, man. But gangster rap is not bad, but it changed the narrative of what people wanted to be. It changed the narrative of what cool is. If you show people cool is something different, if Stunnaman02 can say, oh, I got a college degree, you feel me, I like reading books, you know, I like putting positivity, I like making people smile, but I'm still doing these things that are considered cool. I still make music, I still perform at a high level, I'm still at the strip club, but I could still go protest the next day. Your perception of what cool is different, you feel me? And that's what we got to get into, like picking up something. Everybody, like I had to learn in the Bay Area culture, like we got this pimp mentality, but everybody not a pimp. So it's like, think if you was supposed to be a golfer, but you're trying to go play football, you don't even want to play contact sports, you feel me? You want to play something else, like you was built for something else, and that's okay. You know what I mean? And I think we have to learn that. If you're the cameraman, if you're the director, be the director. You don't always have to be in front of the camera. If my natural skill was to be behind the camera, I would run with that. But my natural skill was to be is being boisterous. My natural skill is to, you know, be articulate. I mean, my mom prided me on that. Before I was born, she was already conditioning me, reading to me in the belly, which is important. Feel me? In that critical age, or that critical state of life. Feel me? Teaching me all these things, words, trying to get the as much linguic type things around me. You know what I'm saying? So
no, I get that vibe, because I mean, you're coming from San Francisco, correct?
Born and raised with a playground where I spend most of my day.
So
Hayden Webster, Page Street, Fillmore, California, Western Edition, what they call it. The earth is my turf, though. Anywhere for like home, like, and shout out to this beautiful setup.
Thank you, man.
It's beautiful here, man.
Thank you.
How much drugs you have to sell to get this? Now, we're gonna talk about it off camera.
So in San Francisco, right?
Yeah.
What was the environment like?
Oh man, it's like a Boolean base of very eclectic type cultures. You know, like a Motley Crue. Feel me? The same way they got the band. It's like a blend of so many different things, but also things that stand out amongst this blend. So like, for example, like in my building I grew up with, we had no Caucasian people, all melanated, you feel me? And in this building was only black or African American, Latino, black and Latino, you feel me? The whole building. But each house had their own culture. Like I lived in my house, and my family came from the East Coast. So they got blends of Native American, blends of Portuguese, blends of Black American. Then across the hall, El Salvadorian. One of my best friends, they like family, babysat me, started teaching me how to speak Spanish. Then over there, it's Mexican. Then over there, they got black from a whole different type of place. And then you go upstairs, it was one white family, but unfortunately, they was a part of the low socioeconomic area like we was, you feel me? So you got them right there, and then above them over there, you got Mexican. Over there, another black American family, and another black American family. So
yeah, the one thing I could say about the Bay Area, it's very multicultural.
For sure, man.
Very multicultural.
It's dope. It's beautiful, though. That's because, like, we need that, because at the end of the day, I'm doing my best to step in and call things melanated, because, you know, it's divide and conquer. The more way we separate things is the more way we able to make people think they different, so we don't come together and want to come together. Before, we was calling Italian and Irish white, you feel me? They were segregated by being Italian and Irish. And then once they saw, like, oh, there's a whole bunch of people that are not quote unquote white coming to the United States, oh, we got to grab these people and tell them they this. But feel me, you know, so all these Sicilians, all these Irish folks, they got some color to them too. They got it, feel me, something. You can see the hints of melanin in them. You know what I mean? So it's like, feel me, once we stop doing that and dividing each other and bringing into each other, we stop discriminating against people, putting people on the totem pole. Now, this Latino person that I grew up with don't seem too different than me. Yeah. And then, you know what I mean? So I think that's definitely dope. And that's what the Bay always has had. You feel me? We understand our culture, but at the same time, we blend it together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, where do you get your game from?
Shit, being around, just soaking up from the environment. I call it epigenetics. Epigenetics is how your nature or your nature interacts with your nurture. So how your biological interacts with the environment that you're in, you know. And then they did a study on epigenetics. Please look this up. But they said people's genes. Epigenetics is basically how how your genes interacts with your environment. So when I go into different environments, I already have the genes of what's been going through my body, feel me, what my parents lived through, the psychological, the physical, whatever genes create, you feel me? And then after that, it's how I interact with my environment. Like I've lived in the Bay, San Francisco, Oakland, all these different places, been to these cities. Then I lived in New Orleans. Then I've been to different places, and I do my best to just, you know, I understand we got really 6 ways to inhibit information. You know what I mean? Our senses, we got 2 eyes, we got 2 nostrils, 1 nose, but you got, you got 2 places and 2 ears. That's 6 ways to take in some type of feeling, but we got 1 way to express it. And even in that 1 way to express it, it's another way to take in another sense that we take something in. Yeah. So I talk a lot, but at the same time, I try to soak up way more than I talk. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear it, and I've recently been put onto a term called emotional intelligence.
Oh, that's my shit. Y'all go read Emotional Intelligence 2.0.
And I feel like your emotional intelligence is high.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
So I'm just curious on did you teach yourself this? Because I feel like you have to go through shit. You have to understand yourself. You have to be self-aware. Yeah. You got to be a whole bunch of shit. And, you know, I'm figuring it out still. And I feel like you know what I'm saying? Like you represent that well, and you articulate yourself so well.
Hey, shout out to you for figuring it out. And that's like, as long as you comfortable with figuring it out, that's gonna be life all the time.
Because I mean, I'm sure you're figuring it out. Everyone still figures it out every day.
Like, you figure something out every day.
You never have it figured out.
Never. And it's when you do, there's always gonna be a new lesson to be learned. Or if you do, you're gonna halt your growth and how much better you could be. But definitely my mom said this phrase to me very young. She was like, if somebody can make you mad, they can control you. And it's like they can throw you off. And, you know, that always stuck with me. And then I started, you know, initially I liked science a lot. So, you know, initially I went to school for biology to, you know, become a doctor. And then, but after I was like, man, I'm partying too much. I don't have enough discipline to be like, I'm going to cut this part out so I could study and get this right. So I met myself in the middle. Because I like psychology as well, so I'm going to study that. And then in that, I just took as much game as I could, and I'm still in, you know what I mean? And one of my partners, shout out to the homie Cream, you feel me? He has an MBA in business, sports management, you feel me? And he come from the same neighborhood I come from, and he gave me this book. It was called Emotional Intelligence 2.0. And all the stuff that I had been learning throughout my whole life, you know, figuring out how to deal with my life, you know, Wusan, taking deep breaths, not letting people take me out my character and whatnot. That book kind of summed it up. And I was like, damn, this is a dope book. And it's like, they had an interesting statistic. They said like majority of millionaires don't have the highest IQ, which is the intelligent quotient. They have the highest EQ, was the emotional quotient. So it's like, you know, as we navigate this life, you feel me, being intelligent is important, but, you know, having a grip on your emotions is a lot more important. Like, way more important. You might be one day y'all gonna be in a boardroom with billionaires and they gonna want to invest in your podcast, and they might say something to, you know, try to throw you off, and you got to be like, check them out and be like, yo, like, did they just say that? But I'm not going to squander this opportunity. Yeah. You feel me? Or you might be in a situation, you know, outside, road rage. We all have been through it, where it's like, okay, are you going to let this person bring you out your character, or are you going to do what you need to do to preserve life? And we've all been there. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. No, definitely. I mean, for example, like, I shoot music videos. Yeah. You know, and having to deal with just that. When my video going to be done. Or just, what time? Where you at? Yeah, this, you know, like, I don't know. Just, what's up, man? We got to work. I'm down. I'm down. But yeah, man, I'm just so fascinated because I'm reading and I'm working on my emotional intelligence and trying to like be, you know, like I said, aware and shit. So I just fuck with the vibe, the movement, man, you know, for real. We building life. We making all this type of shit cool. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna be, when you get out of, that's how me and my lady, man, we was talking about books and stuff. We wasn't talking about no bullshit. You feel me? So when you come holler at these ladies, if she don't understand or want to comprehend no emotional intelligence, ladies with these fellas too, why would you even want to continue a conversation with them? You know what I mean? They might look good, but are they really good? Have you always been a reader? Man, as long as I could live. My mom literally was reading to me when I was in her belly, and I would just be, feel me? She named me Jordan because she was reading the Bible and she read a passage about the Jordan River out loud. John had baptized Jesus in the Jordan, and then I had kicked, and she was like, "Oh shoot!" Then she read it again, kicked again. So you feel me? She had a whole bunch of other names, but she remembered that. So then when I was born, she was like, I'm gonna name him this. And then from then on, she used to read to me every single night. Now I'm not gonna act like I'm a lawyer, or you feel me? You know what I'm saying? Or I'm a librarian, but it's like I do like to soak in knowledge. Like if that's TV, if that's a podcast, if that's an audio book, you know, I don't read as much as I used to growing up, but I like to take the knowledge in, you feel me? Yeah. So it feels good. It feels good to always learn. And it's like you get into like this I call it the circle of comprehension. And it's like when you're in your circle of comprehension, it's like the world kind of like you get vulnerable to the world. It's similar to the creative circle. And while you in there, you feel me, you feel things more. You're more sensitive to a lot of things. When I'm in my processing state, I'm more susceptible to a comment or something like that. That's why I like to give myself time to really comprehend what's going on, to really comprehend my mode of creation. Because when you in that, you feel different. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I could definitely say there's a parallel between, you know, comprehending and creation. Feel me? And it's like, so much so that even though they run parallel to each other, they might even often intersect, because you need to comprehend in order to create, and you need to create in order to comprehend more. You feel me? No, I feel it too. My big thing is like I focus on stories. Yeah. You know, and I think understanding story structure can help you a lot in this creative field. For sure. Regardless of whatever the fuck you're doing. If you're a graphic designer, you still got to tell the story with that image. You know, with a song, you got to tell the story. A video, you got to tell the story. So you know, that was one big like I call it creative breakthroughs. Yeah. Where it just clicks for you. You kind of see the bigger picture. You're kind of able to step back and be like, oh shit, like you do storyboards and things like that. Yeah. Storyboards or, you know, treatment, shit like that. Yeah, man, I'm trying to get into that. I'm still like, I'm learning that there's different types of ways to tell stories. Like you have the Western way, where it's very methodical and very linear. You feel me? And then you have like, I just learned like this teacher in Philadelphia was saying like she did a study on storytelling and like how a lot of people who are melanated, you know, culturally their stories go like this, you feel me? And they'd be like, oh yeah, I was walking down the street and I was hanging out with my boy Trev, and then we was doing this, but hey, mind you, why I saw this pit bull, and let me tell you, bro, this pit bull, bro, I saw this pit bull 2 weeks ago, and they tell the whole story about the pit bull. Sounds like my girl. Literally, you feel me? Your girl, she probably melanated, you know what I'm saying? Or she from, she Latina? She's Mexican. Yes, yep. So feel me, that's the same thing. You look at the oral traditions, you know what I'm saying, that we done binded together, and eventually put on text. You know, back in the day, these how stories used to be told, because that minor detail about the pit bull, you'd be like, okay, why are you telling me about the pit bull? So, feel me, I had fed, like, the pit bull hella vicious to everybody else, so I fed it. So I seen it this time, and it got off the leash, and it went and barked at everybody except me, because I fed it 2 weeks ago. So it's like, it always come back around, and it just like, you see stuff like that, and that stuff be hella dope to see. There's a never ending ways to how to tell these stories, and I'm trying to transition to more of the Western way of telling stories, where it's like really methodical outline, because I don't think I've never really been good at that. Always been good at going here and coming there and come back, and you know what I'm saying? Just,
I mean, yeah, like a story. I relate it to like a paper. That's why I said, you know, going to school, reading. You know what I'm saying? It's like you structure a essay, a research essay, or any type of work. Basically, it has an intro, body, and conclusion. You know
I gotta send you this outline somebody did about script writing, but it's the same thing as book writing. Feel me? I'm gonna send that to you before we leave.
Yeah, I mean, it's universal. You could apply storytelling to anything. You know
literally,
and it's like we've been doing it before technology.
Hey, I like your mustache.
I appreciate cool that. Yeah, I just got it fresh cut today. Damn, someone's calling me on the pod right now.
Answer like, hey yo, what you doing?
That's my homie Belt. Yo, I'm on the pod. I'm recording the pod right now,
man. Where you at, bro? You supposed to be out here with us, Belt. Come on,
pulling
man.
up or what?
We pulling up.
All right, yeah. Text me.
We pulling up.
Shout out to Belt, man. All right, let's talk about the creative side. Have you always been a creative, or for the artist?
Long as I can remember, yeah. Just somebody who likes to be myself. I think like I'm realizing as I grow, like I think artists and creatives are the label, but I just like to be in spaces where I could just be myself to the fullest. And it's like, you know, understanding, like I went to Catholic school for a while, and that's like teaches you a lot of discipline. My family, Catholic school, all these different places, but I like the freedom of just being able to be myself. If I come into a place and I'm not able to make people smile, we're not able to, you know, have fun, enjoy everything while we get our stuff done, while we're productive, not just active or busy, but really productive, then, you know, I don't think that space is necessarily for me. And I've learned over the years as I've grown as a person, like most of the time, being around artists, creative places, creative spaces, these are the places where you can be free, but you're still producing, and you're taking that creativity and funneling it and putting it out to the world. We're packaging the creativity, you feel me? Right. I was just with the homie, and shout out to the homie Golden, and he had a unique way of how he record. Feel me? He records with a dynamic mic like he performing, and I never saw nobody do that because you think conventionally, oh, you need to record with it got to be in a booth and this and that, and I make my music to perform. So it's like when I'm watching him, he's like, yeah, I just record. Like he was just so free, like, and it looked dope. He didn't have to put no headphones. I think he might have had some headphones on, but
I would think that would help with delivery
for sure. What?
You know? Like the delivery of that shit, just imagining.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, and that's like next level creativity. That's like next level freedom, you know what I mean? So to see things like that, to see him be in his space, just doing that, not doing something conventionally, is hella dope. And that's what I like. That's why I feel like I've always been like that. I don't think I always fit the orthodox way of how to do things. You know what I'm saying?
And what drew you to music?
Just being public speaking, really. Like I've been doing public speaking like since I was like 4 years old. Wow. But it was a mix of public speaking, then a mix of, my mom said I was like 1 or 2 years old. We was at Lake Merritt in Oakland, and then I was dancing to some music, and she was like, you got it on the news because you was like a baby dancing. Then I did like African dance when I was like 5 to 8 years old, and I from the first time the person who was orchestrating it came in, he was playing the drums, like I was dancing, he's like, I need you in my dance thing. I'd never really danced like on a professional level or even took any classes, and he was like, here, we need you in here. And then, you know, that public speaking, and then having fun, not only writing, but taking words and making them rhyme.
Do you feel like it's public speaking or like performing?
I think it's all together. Like that nervousness of getting up there. Like I kind of, this might sound wicked, but I enjoy it.
Yeah.
You feel me? That feeling that sit in your stomach, the preparation of it, making sure you create these words that not only you can relate to, but these people who might not be able to, you know, voice how they feel can relate to 1,000%. It makes me feel good to do that. I remember being in middle school, I was at this program called College Track, and we had to create. They was like, all right, we're gonna give you 15 minutes. We got about 10 words or something like that, and I want you to take these words. These are vocab words, and they was like, make a story basically, or write a paragraph. So I was like, oh, I'm about to take it on one. I was like, I'm about to make these words rhyme. So I was like, I wrote a whole thing, and they was like, who used all the words? And I was like, the person orchestrating was, not skeptical, but she was asking in a way like, let's see who actually applied themselves. And I was like, oh, me. And I was excited. And they was like, oh, you did. And then it was kind of like a way is like, oh, you really used all the words. Let's prove it. It's
like you had to use it in a sentence type of thing.
But the way I did it, I wrote a poem. So it's like I kind of wrote a rap. So and then she was like, all right, come up and read it. So I read it, and they were counting the words, and I used every single word. And I found enjoyment in writing. The challenge of using these words that I might have never heard of, using them in the appropriate way to where they made sense, and then putting them in a flow type of way to where it's poetic, but also when the people hear it's like, oh, I could understand. And then to perform it was the cherry on top.
How old were you?
I was like 12, 13.
Damn.
Yeah, it was dope. You know what I mean? And then I used to get so many opportunities to do this stuff. Like people used to be like, since I was like 5, like I used to be the person speaking at any graduation, anytime we got to present something.
Really?
Yeah, every time. And I remember, I don't regret this, but this is something that I knew when I was younger I should have did. They wanted me to do like a Martin Luther King speech when I was like maybe like real young, like before I was 8. And I was like, nah, I don't want to do it. But I was like, man, I should have did it because I would have killed it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, for me, all of that stuff was fun. And then it's like, it just translated to go from, I still do public speaking and do all of this stuff, but, I like music. Like, music is cool. It's creative. It's fun. You know what I mean? I just like making things rhyme.
Yeah.
That's what I like.
When are we going to get the Stunnaman02 TED Talks?
Oh, man, when you think let's manifest it. Tell me when you want to do it.
I mean, I see 2 years or less.
All right, let's do it, family. I'm about to put it on my, I'm about to text myself and say, hey, 2 years or less. Hey, Jonah, you heard that, right? You got that? We got that? All right.
I could see it, man. That would be sick as fuck.
What you think I should talk about?
I mean, that's the whole question. Okay. We could, we could definitely figure this out.
Yes. All right.
But I mean, what do you watch TED Talks?
I
watch some. I mean, basically, it's like just a good motivating story or a lesson. You know what I'm saying? It's just like it's storytelling. It's you watch. I know I watch them to kind of get inspired. Kind of get motivated,
No, for sure, yeah.
So I can see it. But who were you slapping? Like, what kind of music were you listening to growing up?
Back in the day, definitely Mac Dre. A lot of everybody. Mac Dre, definitely Outkast, definitely Michael Jackson. I remember Outkast. Like, I remember, like, the first CD I really just, like, I was begging my mom to buy. And I don't know this because I was a young, horny kid or because they were just so good. But it was a purple CD, and then I think the woman, like, she had her breasts out. And it was just so
raw.
Yeah, and it had this song with Killer Mike on there. 'Cause the whole world loves it when you in a few. Ba, 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 out. And I just remember that melody. And what they was talking about was just literally political, but they made it sound good, which kind of influenced. I feel like I say I make conscious mob music because, like, it makes you want to get up and go like this and you be lit and have fun. But also, most of the time I'm talking about something, you know what I mean? And got some right trigger words in there so you don't fall asleep. But at the same time, it's like, I could bump this in the club. I don't even know I'm talking about police brutality. Yeah. I don't even know. One of my songs, Shake, it's literally about consensually respecting women while they have a good time. The women love that song, you know what I mean? So it's like, slapping them, definitely 50 Cent, definitely Snoop, definitely whoever you think, Eminem. Like, I'm trying to think, like, I made a list of artists who I want to work with, and the list is crazy long, but KRS-One, you feel me? Definitely NWA, definitely the game was dope. Whole G-Unit. I was a big G-Unit fan. Video game, clothes.
I remember that Get Rich or Die Trying. That was like my introduction to hip hop.
For sure.
Like, that was one of the albums you could just play front to back. And I was like, I was getting in trouble for listening to it because it was my older brothers.
Of course,
I was just like, nah, this is crazy.
Man, and then on top of that, the whole movement, the movie, the personality, the brand that came associated.
Got shot all these times. He survived. He's like a boogeyman.
Man, for sure, bro. You can't. 50 Cent will never go away.
Have you always had an aggressive kind of delivery in your raps?
I don't think so.
Do you feel like you have an aggressive delivery?
Yeah, for sure. Because I feel like I have not a chip on my shoulder, but my inner, it's like the want to be heard. You know what I mean? And I feel like a long time I was dropping music on SoundCloud, and I was tired of getting like 5 plays. And I was like, man, what is gonna make me, you know, at that time of my life, I just wanted to I want to rip shit up. And it was like, at the time of my life, I really started taking rap serious. I was like, in a political standpoint where I really want to stand up for my people, represent something right. I was really more conscious, like talking about social issues, current events, things like that. But I was really like, I was throwing events. So I was the MC at the events. And I noticed you get more people attention now by, you know, hey, how you doing? You get your attention by, you know, using that diaphragm and, hey, we outside, you feel me? Come on, what we finna do? You know what I'm saying? You get people hype, you get people turned up. And then I found out, of course I got music where I'm damn near being melodic, damn near singing. Of course I got music where I'm smooth, you know what I mean? But I felt in my heart a lot of times, and I felt in my just my limbic system that it was time to, you know, use this voice to grab people in. I want if you all the way down there where I'm not even able to see you, I want to be able to talk on this and you be like, oh, who was that?
It's kind of reminiscent of like some Lil John crunk era type vibe though.
And me and Lil John got some music coming.
Really?
Yeah, we locked in like a year and a half ago at Empire. We got 2 songs, maybe 3, I think. We just locked in. I was like one of the longest studio sessions of my life, from like 12 p.m. to 4 a.m. the next day.
What was it like going into that?
I did my own session. I was already there, and then a couple people hit me. Shout out to Hanny, and my previous management tapped in, and like it was like 3 different, and Clayton William tapped in, and it was like 3 different people tapped in and was like, yo, you got to work with Lil John. I'm finna introduce you to Lil John. I was like, they kept telling me, and this is how manifestation works. It's a song I got called With a Twist on my project. It's big. You feel me? On that, I was like, call Lil John, finna get shit crunk. I dropped this like 5 months, or this came out, recorded this 5 months before it ever happened. So then put it out in March, and after that, you feel me? Me and Lil John literally locked in, like one of the longest.
That's sick.
Yeah, it was dope. And then, feel me, right place, right time, right people looking out for me. But on top of that, you know, just grinding. Like opportunity met preparation. I got lucky.
So what was the session like going into that?
Oh, it was lit. Feel me?
It was. Oh shit, this Lil John. Like
I was absolutely ready. Like it was. We was energetically connected and well respected. We was on the same type of time. He was very calm, chill, but the thing that he produced on, he had pyramids, and he was like, man, these pyramids are important because they have a different type of, they conduct frequency differently, and he explained it way more in depth. But it was really a strategy and a technicalness to his production. And he was like, he was just cranking the beats out, he was just cranking them out, and I was just like, man, eventually when we locked in, so this will happen. So I had a studio session, then I had a mixer at Empire, then I went in the studio with Lil John. So literally up for like crazy time, and the whole energy of what was going on, we put it into the music. And it was just like, it was dope. My homie 10 Millie was there, the homie Gunner was there. You feel me? We made a lot of dope tracks.
So you're mad tired going into the studio with Lil John right now, off of what, a long ass night, and then a mixer? What's a mixer?
A mixer is like to connect people. You know what I'm saying? So it's like Lil John was already there cooking. I had a session, did a mixer, so I'm socializing. So I'm using that energy. You feel me? That's energy right there. So I energy into recording, energy into networking and socializing, then gotta still record possibly with at the time one of the biggest producers, one of my biggest influences, one of the people they say his sound helped revive the sound of the Bay. You feel me? Working with Too Short, E40, and all these great artists. You feel me? You know, a lot of people don't know like Too Short moved to Atlanta because he wasn't trying to be in all the craziness happening in Oakland, and the first person he locked in with was Lil John. I think he signed Lil John.
Holy shit.
And then you got Blow the Whistle, Shake That Monkey, all of these.
Oh my, I didn't even think about
Lil
all that.
John, and then Tell Me When to Go. I don't know. Tracks, I think, produced Tell Me When to Go, RP Tracks. I forgot who did, forgive me. But then locking in back with E40, and then
shit.
like cranking out a lot of Bay Area music because Too Short was in Atlanta and everything was popping. He's like, oh, this dude right here going crazy, and you know.
No, that makes a lot of sense.
Feel me?
That makes a lot of sense because they were coming out with some heat.
Legendary, you feel me?
Yeah,
you couldn't stop them. And then, come on, man.
That shit is hard. Mm-hmm. So how long were you in the music game until you started seeing some sort of fan base or success in it?
It went in waves. Like, I made my first song on a phone, on a Metro phone in 2008. Like, I used to live in Hunters Point. We was on Garlington, and at that time, what they used to do in Hunters Point, really all over San Francisco, I'm pretty sure a lot of other places is doing it, is that they'll record a song on their phone, and then that's what you do until you could go to an actual studio. So, like, we used to record songs on our phone, and I just remember me and the homies being there having hella fun, recording stuff on our phone. It was lit. So then my homie Jesse B, shout out to Mac Just, he was working with Roach Giggs, Lil Forte, he from Freedom West and Filmo. He got all the equipment. His mom, he had been making music, like knew how to play the drums, can do anything, could sing, could rap, was battling people, and this is like young, like 13, 14. So he got all the equipment, learned how to make beats, and then we used to go to his house, and then one day they was like, bro, get on the song. And I was like, fuck it. And I was like, I got on it. It was terrible, but everybody liked it. I was like, oh, okay. So then I started, like, they'll drop a beat at the lunch table, and then I had more confidence. So I start freestyling, and then from there, I saw like a buzz grow. And this is early, like 14 years old. And like, cause they'll do that, and then every time they come to the lunch table, drop a beat, they'd be like, where Jordan at? Where Jordan? Feel me? Go get Stunna. And I'm like, all right. And I'll drop a freestyle hard. Then we'll be at a party, and then they'll be freestyling, and we'll do a cypher. Feel me? I'm in a cypher, you feel me? Not stopping, you know, give them 4 bars, step away, come back in. Then I'll be out, and then people who felt like they had it to try to battle me on the spot. Like, this is people who might have had writtens for weeks. Like, you feel me? In the tuck. And then they're trying to come at me, but I'm off the top. Just I remember one time my homie say, hey bro, can I get some money to go to, cause I always was hustler. I always had a job and some way to hustle. Like, we was throwing parties. If I wasn't throwing parties, I was trying to sell something. I always was like, I gotta get it some way. Nothing to where it's super duper illegal. And then when I did step into that, I had to do a morality check. Some things would pass my moral compass, but I was like, either, feel me, I was fortunate enough to have a young lady around me who believed in me, to where it's like, hey, you know, I see this in you. I want to keep you fresh. I want to have this for you. Or I was, feel me, I was throwing parties and while I had a job, you feel me, while playing sports. Damn. So I always had something in my mom's was like, she made a deal with me. She was like, my mom and my grandma, they was like, as long as you keep your grades straight, we're gonna give you some cheese. So I was like, oh, I was already proficient in, academics, so I'm like, all right, not like the DJ, but in the authenticity of learning knowledge.
What would they chip you off? Because I had a contract.
Oh yeah, that's raw.
An academic contract.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
So that's dope. So they said 100 for every A.
Oh, that's fire.
You know what I mean? So
that's fire.
And I had like, I think high school you got 4 to 6 classes, so it's like, you feel me? And, I kept it like a 3.0. So solid. And it would come in different ways, because sometimes they didn't always have that, but it would be like, all right, we're gonna get you some shoes.
No, that's dope.
You know what I mean? And I appreciate that. I'm gonna put 10, 20 in your pocket periodically.
It installs work ethic, and you know exactly. What I'm saying? Shit like that. So it sounds like you were working hard on the music for a long time.
No, for sure.
And then so you're recording off the phone now in the homie studio.
Yeah, thank you for keeping me on track.
No, I got you.
So I used to battle people just that people wanted to battle me, and I remember one time I lent my homie some money. He's like a acquaintance. He used to cut all our hair. Shout out to Quincy. I love him, but he used to cut our hair too. And then I gave him some money, and then he tried to battle me later that day. And he's like, and I don't know exactly what I said, but I remember ending it was like saying something like, oh, you talking about this? And because he was talking about how much money he was getting, how much women he was getting. He was getting women for sure, other young ladies. But and I was like, how you talking about this? But you just asked me for some money, and everybody's like, oh, and it was like, it killed him. And then from then it was, we used to we had some beef with these dudes. It was fun. So it was fun, like kid beef. So then, cause we made a group called Bajib. It was like a acronym for all the first letters of the names of our group, and we was dope, man. We still are dope. And Bajib did a rebrand and still winning. Feel me? Go grab one of these hoodies right now.
Yeah, he blessed me with one too.
Come on,
so
man. You already
that.
know we still winning. Gotta bless my guy. But so we was always making music. Then it was this group called GS, and then they had made a diss track, and I was like, oh, we finna. We had dropped
a diss track?
Yeah, so then we dropped the diss track back, and then we was throwing parties. That's how we really got lit. We was throwing 18 and under parties in,
some functions?
Functions for sure. Right Rabbit. We was throwing them. Everybody was there. And then, somebody got shot at one of our parties, a lady visiting from Germany, so we couldn't throw parties anymore. Transitioned to shop Smops. That's why, Priceless and them used to throw parties with us, you feel me? That's when Priceless was stepping into the scene, and we used to be in there throwing them together for a brief moment. Then, and Priceless turned into Yikin and everything, so shout out to Price. Wow. He going crazy. Then we started throwing Schmops. That's why I love Cool John, Salty, and all of them so much. Just the whole HBK is like they were a generation above us, and like we was kind of looking at what they was doing and like, oh, that's lit. So we started being positive, even though we was from the hood and my partners was into different stuff. So then we dropped a mixtape. And then this is when Vine came out, and this chick I went to high school with, she was Vine famous. So she took a part of my song and she went viral on Vine.
Oh, that's sick.
You feel me? So then everybody was like, it's something about Beyonce, you feel me, saying to the left. And everybody's like, oh, I love that part. And then I was like, dang, I might be able to do this. So I got my skills right. And then I'll say, like, the first time I really saw some real movement after I started going on my own path was like I had this song called Talk About It. And like I shot the video, had all my folks there, and dropped it on March 24th, 2018. And I was in New York when I dropped it. And I was in New York, showed it to some New York dudes from they was from the Bronx. Shout out to the twins. They slid me all through New York. We having hella fun. And I was like, in my head, I was like, I'm gonna push this as far as I can. So I pushed it for 9 months till it got into the hands of DJ Black Mark. I had merch, everything. I only had one song at this time. This is just this one song I'm pushing every single day. I'm posting it. Hey, I got this song. I wasn't posting it every day, but pushing it, telling people about it every day. And then DJ Black Mark heard it, and he put it on 106 KMEL Friday, the night. I forgot what it's called, but when they play all the local music at nighttime. And I was like, damn. And I was off this one song. So I just that was the first time, and they be like, oh, I heard your song. And it was building up traction. Not crazy, but it opened me up to be able to, then I was opening up for Larry June and opening up for all these different places, driving to LA just to do damn near one song or some unreleased music, just learning my crowd while I'm throwing events, just figuring it out, you know what I mean, and kind of getting some notoriety, like, okay, this dude can rap, and then doing freestyle competitions. And then when I did a freestyle competition, I was like, oh, and then battling people and just doing everything I could.
It's a grind.
For sure, you know what I'm saying?
It's a fucking grind.
To this day. So I say 2019, like 9 months after March of 2019, whenever that is, that's when I really started seeing, like, I was grinding through this time, but some movement, like, we need to rock with him. And then hella things happened, and I got into a movie, Last Black Man in San Francisco. And that same summer, I graduated college. That was summer of 2019. Got in that movie. The movie dropped. Graduated college the same weekend the movie dropped. Then I dropped a song called Out That Window, like, the next month. And that song went up. Like, they put it on the radio. I couldn't go anywhere without hearing it. I was like, damn, this is dope.
That's fire.
And then I went out the country for the first time. And then, unfortunately, the pandemic hit. But the momentum we was building, like, after all that, I started dropping more music. But I did a show in top of the hill of Daly City. And that was the first time I was like, yo, like, this, like, 200-300 people in here. Like, and they're all, like, rocking
vibing.
Yeah, I'm like, not even vibing. It's people in here rapping the lyrics.
Oh, shit. And
I'm like, what the fuck? Like, how do y'all know my music? Shout out to Danny for putting that together. But fortunately, the pandemic hit, and we had to restructure. But I was dope and grateful for this dude named Junebug. He had his dance and taking the right information from people and stepping out of my comfort zone and doing a dance of my own. So by the time I did my first show out of the pandemic, we had a sellout show with Boss Life Spence and 10-piece Tone, and they knew another song. There was another song out, or they knew a catalog ending with a very dope song, and everybody knew the lyrics, but not only the lyrics, they knew the dance to it too. So
you cooked up just the dance, because it sounds like you understand marketing and how to push a song.
Learning
with a lot of artists don't do. Like I remember seeing this quote or tweet or whatever from Tyler the Creator, and he was saying like artists will just drop a music video and post it 1 time, 2 times.
He's like, I'm still pushing my shit a year later.
Exactly. And I feel like you're a good example of the benefits of doing shit like that.
Of course, you know what I'm saying? And right now it's like I'm learning. One thing I do have to learn is investing the money part into it, because organically stuff only gets so far, and social media is caught on to, okay, y'all are blowing up, going viral, and organically getting this much. Now it's to a point where it's shadow banning, but that shit don't matter at the end of the day, because you just got to grind through it. But it's to a point where it's like, okay, if you have this many followers, say like for example, Beyonce. Beyonce, if she does one post and every single one of her followers get alerted, that's equivalent or more than people that are viewing a Super Bowl commercial. That's so much influence. So think as y'all blow y'all podcast up, think if y'all get to that point, how many people how much influence you have. So I'm getting on the point of, I know how to create the content and continue to push it. Now it's to put those dollars behind it and get out of my own way and stop being stubborn and saying, because I made a pact with myself. I was like, I never want to pay for promo. And even throughout my big stamping campaign, a lot of people who I tried to pay to do stuff, it never translated into production. It was always the organic things, the organic link-ups with the Jabberwockies, the organic link-ups with these artists, E40, Neftafaro, Capola, whoever was big stepping with us.
I just remember the Jack Harlow one.
The organic link-up with Jack Harlow, you feel me? You feel me? That's the one I pinned because that was huge. Yeah. That still is huge. Jack is my guy.
Yeah, that's dope.
So it just like, for me, like when it comes to the music part of it, is anytime I associate it with just the money or money got them, it never works for me. It works for a lot of other people, and I think that's dope. But for some reason in my life, that's not even the purpose, the influence, me trying to put it out, it never is. People I paid who might not be here anymore, these the people who give me the most static. They might have made the most money with me, and it's still like, damn, like you the least appreciative or you have the most entitlement. It's the people who like rocking organically.
That's the best vibe. It's the best vibe. Bro. It's the same thing for interviews and shit. Like I could pay people to come sit down, but it's like, dude, I want someone that wants to talk to me.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Because
it's like, you're gonna come here for a check. It's not gonna be the same energy.
Nah, man. And it's like, and that was a part of it. In the dance, I had been doing that since I was 13 or 14. Us being in these parties, me seeing 800 dudes from 800 Grove Street in Fillmore, California, hitting they dance, the Swabbage Patch, the Savage Patch that was originated from somebody from G Parkway. I think his name was Stupid or something like that, who used to rock with Mac Dre. Feel me? That
G Parkway, Sacramento. G Parkway.
Yeah, you feel me? Because a lot of people from the Bay.
I mean, Mac Dre stayed in Meadowview, I'm pretty sure, back in the day, and Arden, he was around there all the time.
The Bay and Sacramento. This is why, like, I never, be too like kind of like excluding when it comes to like the neighboring parts of places in Northern California. Because the reality of it is, a lot of people in San Francisco and the Bay, we've been displaced. Gentrification hit hard, but we've been getting displaced, and the move out of hood mentality has been on our mind for a lot of times. And a lot of people from the Bay Area moved to Sac, Stockton, Modesto, wherever, all these neighboring places that are right outside the Bay, Lodi, Discovery Bay, all of these places, Vacaville, and that's the Bay, 707. So it's like, when it's like, it's not like, when people be like, oh, Sac is not the Bay, geographically you may be correct.
Right now we ain't.
Come on, it's beef. Fuck y'all. Nah, but it geographically might not be the Bay.
We all share the same culture.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, music, food, all that shit. It just bleeds over.
And it's like you got multiple tribes in Nigeria. You got multiple. Like, I love my Eritreans and Ethiopians, because even though they're two different countries, at least in the Bay Area, you can say a word called Habesha. And Habesha is the coalition of Eritreans and Ethiopians. So even though the culture might differ and have subtleties, they understand that our culture is the same, you know.
Yeah.
And it's deeper than that, of course. You feel me? And some people will never agree, but I like that mentality of it. So
for sure. I mean, sometimes I just think about like, if I grew up in Ohio,
it's
like, bro, it's all white people. You
different person, no culture.
No culture.
You know
well, they got a culture, I guess, if you want. You know?
It's even like so many cultures intertwined. Like they just dropped an article this year or last year. They said rice milk originated in Nigeria.
Horchata, right?
Exactly. You feel me? So it's like either these two cultures have been making the same thing since whenever it started, or somebody came together and said, yo, like, try this rice milk. Yeah. And it was like, oh, yeah, this is dope. Try this. And that's how it's supposed to be. You feel me? So, you know, we try to segregate each other too much. Forget all that. Let's lock in.
I feel you. I want to go back to you creating Big Steppin. So the dance was already a thing.
Yeah, I've been doing that since I was like 13, 14.
And you had the idea to call it Big Steppin?
That was just organic. Me and Quake Beats, we was making it. We came together and Quake said, I want to make a timeless project. And I said, okay. So
because that's an anthem. It's like it's one of those that will never die.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You feel me? And I think a part of that is the marketing. It's the packaging of it. The part of it of, you know, Quake saying he wants to do something that is timeless and having the patience to work with me and vice versa, and then us locking in and then him producing all the songs for me. Like, it wasn't, I'm rapping on the beat that was made.
You curate a sound with that, you know.
And that sound we curated was since 2018. That first song I said I pushed until it got to the radio was a Quake beat that I saw on Instagram, that until I had enough money to buy it, I used to run it back when Instagram, before I think it was like 20 or 30 second videos, I had to run back part of it to write the whole song.
Oh, wow.
And until I got enough money to, so it's like, and I pushed that song, and then we created a sound from that, the vocal chain, the BPM, everything, and just continue to build on it. It took like 3 years, 3 years, and then we put it into a project, and one of those songs was Big Steppin. Big Steppin is literally you could go look at Heavyweight, Tricks, Talk About It. It's a couple songs that I got with Quake Beats. Slow Mo is literally a similar BPM and us a similar pattern with some changes. And then what's that? They got an earthquake.
Yeah, they're working on
an earthquake. Oh shit! Hey, you feel me? And then us just, you know, doing it in a different way and growing as an artist. You feel me?
Did you have, like, did it click for you when you first went viral on Vine? That's like, okay, I'm gonna create some shit that has viral potential? Not
at all. I didn't. I just was like, I just want to work. It more so was like, when I saw that, it was like, okay, people like when I do something. I might not be like the conventional artist where it's like, oh, every song you're gonna go piece through my catalog, or you're gonna go do this and that, and I know that's gonna come in the future. But for me, it's more like people hold on to a line that I do. Hey man, don't cough in our interview. What are you doing?
I just burped right
now.
You
don't burp or not. What the fuck? And I was like, Jonah, what's going on, man? But it's like I notice people like more so gravitate to moments with me, and they call it timeless. Like, and it's like I learned that, and it's like some of my songs, they might get, I'll drop a song, it might get 100 views, but I'll drop another one and it might, oh shit, this one, it hit. Like, and it's like, you know, and I got to figure that out as myself as an artist, but just naturally, I have those moments that just connect to people and they last with people. And now I'm learning how to, okay, this is connecting, let's feed it. You feel me? And that's all it really is. And then even with Big Steppin', that was a moment where I was in my flow. I recorded like 2 songs and was about to leave the studio. Quake hit that play. When I was leaving, I heard that da-na-na-na-na-na. And I was like, oh, hold on. Punched the whole song in.
Wow.
You feel me? So,
and now it's playing at, you know, NFL games, NBA games, all that shit, right?
Beautiful. Weddings, you know what I'm saying? People, babies playing it. Yeah.
Will you ever stop doing the Big Steppin'?
I might at day 1,000.
Day 1,000.
I said either at day 1. I was going to stop at day 365, but one of my favorite rappers, All Black, he was like, we was in the studio, he's like, I was about to stop. I was like, man, I was going to stop at day 360. He cut me off. He's like, why would you stop? and he's like, let me tell you something. I dropped Canadian Goose at this date, and he was like, the biggest year of the song wasn't until 3 years later. The streaming year of the song was until 3, and that's after like maybe all the hype and initial buzz of the song died down and still lasting the test of time. New people are still finding out about it. Mike Sherm didn't go gold with Asshole till last year. He didn't go platinum with another song till I think this year. So it's like I'm saying I'm gonna stop at day 1,000, but who knows where we'll be. We might be in Africa, or we might be in Sweden or Australia somewhere, and I might be on day 1,300, and Big Steppin might have just went diamond, like your hat.
So you got to keep going. I agree, bro.
Yeah.
Who was your favorite person that like hit that shit, or who hit it the best?
The list is too long. The best, definitely Sourdough Sam, without question. Sourdough Sam, top 3. Sourdough Sam, Jabberwockies.
I was like, the Jabberwockies got to be on there, right?
Yeah, Jabberwockies, and then some young ladies from LA, and kind of like Fresno. They were the first to like do it outside of the country and outside of. They got the women on it, like, cause like before.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And it was
on the boats in Jamaica.
Exactly, and then it's crazy because those young ladies, a couple of them actually throw an amazing festival in LA called Black on the Block.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So
yeah, I actually knew one of the girls that was on that trip.
For real? Who you knew?
I don't know her name. I gotta
Michelle.
I don't know her name
like
that.
We're gonna do it after.
Yeah. Because I just remember seeing that shit on the feed or whatever, and I was like, oh, okay, that's dope as fuck. And then it just like was everywhere.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And then my lady now, she ended up going to Fresno and hitting it with her friends. And then like one of her friends was twerking, and it's like those moments outside of like the artist and all the dope people who dance hit it. You feel me? Those help it go on, and all the women was like, oh, I'm going on vacation, I'm finna hit it too. And then people was hitting it in Africa, just a whole bunch of people.
Timeless track.
Yeah, you feel me? Thank you, man. Thank you. Shout out to Quake Beats for having a mindset. You know what I mean?
Do you ever feel pressure coming off a track like that, or like a song that gets that big type shit?
It's relative. I really just don't give a fuck. Like me personally, like I'ma do me. I caught that song in my flow. How do you match that? You just stay in your flow. Like right now, I was gonna talk to you about it. I got a project coming.
I like the one with Zaybang, the new song with
Zaybang.
Yeah,
exactly.
That
you feel
hard.
me? Around the World. You know what I mean?
That shit was hard.
That's that lead off single. And then we got a couple songs on there, but I got another song on there called Around the World. That's what we named the project after. And literally that song, and I don't want to say something before it comes out, but like that song has that energy of Big Steppin' with a whole different type of, it's a whole different type of genre.
Yeah.
And it's literally like, damn, like everybody I play it for, I played the project for a couple of my homies, and they was like, this is dope. And they listened to it, and one of my homies, shout out to Concrete Ape, he called some of my biggest songs. He called Out That Window. He called Big Steppin'. He listened to
that ear.
He definitely got that ear. He listened to the project one time through, the new one, Around the World, and he's like, okay. He's like, I don't know, this is a good project, but I'm not hearing one of them ones. Or no, that was a Healthy Gas. But he listened to, go stream Healthy Gas too, because that's just, feel me, one of them ones too, and 4 more out now. But he listened to the project through, and when he heard Around the World, he's like, this the one. You feel me?
Yeah, I was slapping that one this morning.
Oh, yeah, I sent you everything?
No, I think it's released. The single is released.
Okay,
on Apple Music.
I'm going to send you the whole project so you can listen to it.
Because I'm a fan of Zaybang, man.
Shout out to Zaybang.
He's been on the pod before, too.
San
Shout
Francisco.
out to fucking Zaybang, man.
Hey, Zay, we got to shoot that video. What's up?
Come on, we can set that up for us.
Oh, you want to shoot it with it?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
It's
we
lit.
Can do that.
Yes.
We can do that.
But yeah, just, being in the flow. And that's why, like, I feel like as long as you make, right now, it might be the big step in time, but that, if I was only pushing Big Steppin' and I hadn't recorded like the 500 plus songs I've been recording in the last, since Big Steppin' started rolling.
500 in the tuck?
For sure. Like I'm gonna start dropping, like I just dropped 4 more for the Warriors. I've been dropping a song every week for the last like 8 weeks. Then I dropped a project called Healthy Gas. I used to only drop 1 project a year. So now I'm like, oh, let me let this music go. So I'm like, man, and I go record Tuesday through Friday usually. So it's like so many songs, features, all this different stuff. I'm like, I'm gonna let this go. Right now I got like 5. Me and Lil Blood got a project we finna drop. Me and this producer named Adiemi from the city, one of the dopest producers out. We got a project that we just finished song number 7. Then me and Clayton William, who's the producer of Around the World, we got hella music. We got a whole separate project, whole separate 10 songs that we got. Then I got a project I'm working on called Women Run the World. That's 4 songs in. Me and JR Bands got about 6 songs done. Then what else I got? I think that's just
that's a lot of music.
I gotta put it out. You feel me? And it's like, if I don't put it out, how would people ever hear it? But if I didn't have all that music sitting, I would be worried. Because I was like, damn, I made my whole life big stepping to the point that I didn't try to get better as an artist. I didn't try to get better as a creative. But instead, while I'm big stepping, I'm making music the whole time. I'm pushing the whole time. I'm literally acting. I'm in a TV show called Blind Spotting that just dropped. Oh, we got hit push-ups after this. I'm in a TV show called Blind Spotting. Shout out to Raphael and David who threw me a lob, and that just premiered.
You like acting?
Of course. What? I just shot my second feature film.
Wow.
Hey,
what do you mean shot? Like you're in it?
Yeah, I'm in it. I made an appearance in my second feature film.
Wow.
Got a smooth lead role, or speaking role, excuse me. Wow. And it's like I'm not able to say what film it is until it drops, but you feel me? Like,
that's sick as fuck.
That's gonna be dope. It's a huge film, and they shot it in the Bay Area, so I'm excited about that. Like, because there's more acting opportunities coming into the Bay, and it's like, man, we in LA right now doing our thing, but one of my biggest things is I never wanted to have to leave the Bay to really grow. But now I'm at that point where, like, I've done everything I could. Like, I performed at Outside Lands. I performed at Summer Jam. I performed at the Pergola with La Russell. You feel me? All these huge places. I've been in these to the Warfield. Every big thing that's happening in the Bay, like, and I'm thankful for every opportunity. Shout out to everybody who ever gave me one. But it's like, I've done everything. Now I gotta pay attention to my peers and say, okay, who are the people who are people that are progressing our whole region? And it's like, okay, now it's
Uncle Larry.
Feel me? Come on, yeah. Larry, La Russell, Bean, sure. All these. That's too many.
There's
people.
a lot of.
It's too many people to name. Like,
yeah.
And if I didn't name you, don't look at that podcast and be like, even to that rapper, that artist that just dropped her or his first song. You feel me? And I didn't happen to name you. You're doing what we need to too. Like, you're progressing the culture as well, you feel me? And I'm happy I stopped myself because people deserve their kudos. People definitely deserve their pats on the back. But we also got to clap for these people that are doing, not
Right.
trying. You're doing. You dropped that first song, or you put on that first campaign, and Lil Baby said something profound. He was like, you can't think everything gonna make $1 million. If you think like that, you gonna fail every time, because it's the things that you least expect that usually go up. Or those things that where it's like, oh, I had 10 failures, and this 11th one went up.
Well, yeah, I mean, for you, I would imagine the challenge would be to not compare.
No, hell no.
You know what I'm saying? Because that is, it's like the thief of joy.
Literally, that's what I was about to say. That's why I'm happy I didn't talk, because you said it.
Yeah, so I mean, I could just imagine coming off of a hit like this, and then kind of the anxiety and pressure an artist has to follow up.
And for me, it's funny, a lot of people tell me that, but it's like, to me, in my eyes, I think it's a dope song, and it's definitely a good push, but it's not a hit.
It's not defined by, you know what I'm saying? You're trying to be defined by all this shit, so that's how you got to play it. Like,
but then I'd be thankful when, like you just said, it was a hit. Like, me, I don't even think it's a hit yet. Like, me, like, I want to see it go diamond.
You think it's regionally a hit, or it's all over now, or what?
I think it's global, but it's like, you feel me? It still got a lot of legs. It still got a point where, like, they're playing this at a handful of games, but they not playing it, the whole season. Every stadium ain't got it playing.
Yeah.
You're like, oh yeah, they playing it at a couple parties and clubs, but I need the whole world playing it. It got some streams, but we need to go up to them billion streams. I want to see it go diamond. Like,
Facts.
I said, like your hat.
Facts.
And it's like, I need the whole universe big stepping. I need somebody to come from Mars and they be like, oh, we came here because we was trying to big step. You feel me? That's
hey, nowadays it looks like there's some fucking aliens going on.
Nah, for
dude.
sure.
This shit is crazy.
It's been like that. We aliens in an energetic sense. You feel me?
I'm an alien.
For sure. You know what I mean? And literally, I'm not from America, so I'm an alien now.
Yo, let me ask you. You mentioned you were throwing parties and shit. What type of person were you at the function?
I was working buns. You feel me?
Like in the middle or like on the wall, like just anywhere you can get it.
So my crew budget, we started that because we didn't want to be. We was from the hood. We was in Hunters Point at the time, but we didn't want to fall into what conventionally would happen of people of our age, around 12, 13 years old. So our thing was we played sports. We went to a smooth school, got good grades, but we went to parties. That was our thing. When we
throw parties, not fists.
Exactly, literally have fun. You know what I'm saying? Throw parties, not fights. Like that's.
Yeah.
Now I don't know.
I was just really influenced by all that schmop life shit too. Like I was watching the whole HBK movement when I was in high school. You know, it was an influence. They had it on lock.
They still are it.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out to the whole HBK. But I just remember watching I was fascinated by music videos, and they would always do like cool ass music videos at the Schmop House.
Oh, and I was just at the Schmop House with Oops. We just shot a video. I got a video dropping called "Get That Dough" off the Healthy Gas Project. That song is produced by Pilo. That's why I made sure we shot it at the Schmop House briefly. Quick appearance with Oops All Berries and a couple of the other homies.
Yeah, because they had some dope ass music videos back in the day. Like.
Man, that's if you look at the cover Out That Window, my song, the single, not the album. Literally, the cover is shot of me performing out the window of the Schmop House.
That's hard.
I mean? But I was about to say, we was throwing parties, keeping it lit, having a good time. Whatchamacallit, when we go to the parties, we was the party starters. Like girls used to be like, I'm hella mad. They used to aim us like, are y'all coming to the party? You remember aim?
I need something to get.
Then literally they was like, we was mad. We'll see girls outside of in the city or wherever we was at. They be like, damn, we was mad y'all didn't go to the last party. We didn't have nobody to dance with. You feel me? Like that type. Well, I'm talking about like we had an assembly line of working buns. Like it'd be, and eventually we grew
like
from
In-N-Out or McDonald's and shit?
Like, faster than that. You feel me? Like Chick-fil-A with good service. You know what I mean? We had like 15 to 20 or 10 to 20 dudes lined up because Bajib eventually grew to like a conglomerate of people just doing their thing. If you was attractive, was about being around women, you had a good demeanor, like you know how to carry yourself.
Did you have to yike at a certain proficiency?
Yiking wasn't even out yet.
What was it? I mean, just get broken off or
nah,
what?
So look, then you had to be player. Yeah. So this is before the yiking era. So like I said, at the end of us throwing parties, we started throwing parties with Priceless. Priceless is a genius because what yiking is, every city used to dance different. San Francisco used to dance different than Oakland, then Vallejo, then Antioch. Antioch, they used to throw the craziest house parties.
Wow.
Dance different than Richmond, dance different than Marin City, dance different than San Jose. San Francisco, we had the 1-2 dip. Feel me? Oakland had the Oakland dip. Antioch had the Antioch dip. And then what Priceless did, he was going to all of these parties as he was coming up with his rap career, and he started with his team. They started bringing these dances together, which is dope. Now that is what yiking is. It's a mix of, you feel me, doing all of these dances. It's a mix of the Oakland dip. When you see that dip, that's the Oakland dip.
Wow.
And it's the mix of when you see that back and forth, that's how we used to dance in San Francisco. It's a 1-2, but he just put it all together in a smooth. So it's like, this is before yiking. Like, we was like literally like, we knew where a chick, we used to go to so many parties that we knew where a chick was from, but by how she would dance.
Like, oh wow, it was like that regional?
Like, I'm talking about like, we'll be dancing, we'll do our dip. You know, you got to grab the belt loop, you feel me? Because you got to see, you got to saddle up. Like, hold on, who is this? And you feel her. And then if that dip come out of nowhere, it's like, oh, okay, I felt the dip. If you were really experienced, you could do it off the first pitch. But, you know, just even like the best hitters, you got to see another pitch. So she hit you with a wave. Feel me? She hit you with another dip. Like, oh, no, that's the Antioch dip. Okay, she from out the way. Or like, you feel me? Okay, oh, she on me. She got a sidekick on the hip. But feel me? Okay, hold on, who is this? And then like, you feel me? This dip kind of different though. Oh, she might be from Millbrae. You feel me? Like, she kind of got the Oakland dip. Like, her cousins live in Oakland, but she ain't really from there. So
I had no idea it was that deep.
We was there. Think about going to a party, hit or miss. I'm talking about going through treks, walking hours, like, and being like no ride home sometimes, like walking through the cold of San Francisco.
Just to dance with some girls?
Man, just to be in the culture. That's what we was doing. Like, that was our thing. Like, and for us, that was the best thing we could do because it was us getting out of the neighborhood. And at the time, the neighborhood wasn't hella bad, but it's the more we was over here, the less we was over there. If not, we playing sports or we doing something else. But like, think of doing that every weekend from 14 years old to like 17 or 18 years old. And it's like, you're gonna know what type of women are this, and that. You feel me? And it's like, you're gonna know who a woman is. And it's just like, it grew for us. You know what I mean? It was
man. I think we definitely need to throw a function.
Come on, let's do it.
That would be hard.
We got to do it for the youngsters. Like, we got to do
take them back. You
exactly.
Yes.
We got to do it to where like we do it for them, and we might not be there. I would love to perform for them too. Kids is like, the adolescents is like one of my biggest fan groups.
Like tall teas and Swisher Sweets. The grape ones.
We got to do like a adult one. And for us, it's lit.
And then one for the kids.
And then do one where like, okay, we about to take y'all, feel me, you know what I mean? So it's like, so that they can, because that's what, success without successors. You feel me? It's no, and you got to get this young dude, his name, Gabe in the Bay. You seen him?
No.
And I'm gonna put you on with him, but he does, like, he walks around and ask people questions. Him, Mario.
I was like, I know Mario.
Yeah. It's like that. It's a lot of people doing it.
Yeah, that shit's tight.
I didn't see you had blood on here, but like, we gotta there's no success without successors, and I say that because if we're not the ones teaching them what our culture is, they'll never know. You know what I mean?
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts. Well, shit, man. Before we wrap up, I just wanted to ask you. There's a lot of LA artists. On the project. Was that?
Yeah, intentional. Are we going around the world, and West Coast is the first stop? Feel me? So, shout out.
I see what you're doing.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah. So shout out to Joe Moses. Shout out to AZ Chike. Shout out to Pendrix. Shout out to all these dope LA artists that are out here. And I love AZ Chike because him and Rucci, AZ Chike, we was in the studio with King Bulu. Shout out to It's Me, man. You feel me? But AZ Chike, he said something very dope to me. He was like, man, people don't admit it, but we get sauce from the Bay. You know what I mean? Like, we look at Shaw and be like, damn, what they doing right there is dope. And we do that. And it's like, I appreciate the humility to be able to say something like that. Not to say they don't have their own culture, because AZ Chike is for sure, AZ Chike is so secure in his identity that he can admit who he's influenced by. And a lot of times you don't see that, especially with the Bay Area. But I want to encourage people from the Bay to lean on these avenues and these
bridge the gap. I like to see it.
Of all these different places like Detroit, everywhere where they like our culture, let's go and indulge in their culture. And that just makes us better. Let's go rap on these LA beats, these Detroit beats, and bridge the gap. So instead of it's they stole our sound, it's oh man, we on the same wave. And now it expands. Now we can do something like Larry June and Babyface Ray did a sound clash in the Bay.
Yeah.
We need that in LA. We need two of the biggest LA artists throwing a show, maybe in the Valley or something like that, or 3 shows or 4, one all the way up and by Humboldt or somewhere in between Humboldt and Sac, or people or 5, because you got to think about
Seattle,
Chico.
Yeah.
So I was just thinking about, and that's another
California,
one.
yeah. But Seattle's a part of. They're like cousins too.
They are West Coast. The whole West Coast sound, like, and you don't know until you go. And then you're like, damn, Portland? Tope doing his thing out of Portland. Whole bunch of Portland artists keeping it lit. Just all of Oregon. Wait, they got motherfuckers in Eugene? And Eugene turned up? Hold on, tell me about this. And then Seattle, lit. Washington, feel me? All of Washington turned. Wyoming got some energy.
Now Wyoming. I don't know about Wyoming, but
shout out Wyoming. But all the way down to, you feel me? I was in the Bahamas, and my lady, it was my birthday last year. And my lady, like, I didn't tell him, but she's like, oh, play my boyfriend's song, blah, blah, blah. He's like, oh, what's the song? And then the MC looked at it, and he looked at her. He's like, Big Steppin'? And he's like, this is his song? And he's like, no. He's like, bro. She's like, he's like, you don't know. We play this out here. And this is a year ago. I'm like, wow. It's like, you made this song? Oh my God, we love this song. And I was like, man, it's like, you never know who really rock with you. So
had that shit lit that night, huh?
We was turned up. We went to the Horned Frog. I was drunk as I ever been in my life. I chugged the beer. You know what I mean? I don't even drink like that. I was teed up.
Chugged the beer, huh?
Yeah, but yeah, we're going around the world. I know we got to end this podcast. We've been talking for hella long, but around the world with Clayton William out now, about 10, 11 tracks on there. And got me, a lot of me. You got Zay Bang on it. You got Pendrix. You got Gunna Goes Global. You got Joe Moses. You got AZ Chike. You got production by Mind Motion on there on one of the songs. Mind Motion and Clayton Williams. And you got, of course, the legendary Too Short. So feel me? Go slap that thing, man. Why you ain't listen to it right now? Go download the pre-save link if it's not out. Then go play it on repeat like this. Make it like a hamster reel, rabbit reel, and then go make some content to it. So I don't have to make all the content, but I will make the content to it. Then go watch this interview and then run this interview back 100 times so he can monetize this and break me off some of that change. And then I'm gonna give him a percentage of one of my songs, and that's how we break bread to get ahead.
Definitely trying to break bread. The channel is actually demonetized right now. We're not making any money, unfortunately.
Well, it's not about the money, feel me? Just help us spread the movement so we can keep it grooving. But in the meantime, download the music and subscribe.
Let's go.
Subscribe. Y'all got merch?
Not yet.
When they get merch, sell their merch out every day.
Or subscribe to the Patreon. How about that? That's how you can support.
Subscribe to Patreon. They gonna have OnlyFans content on there too. You want to see him with his shirt off? You want to see Jonah doing some questionable things?
Do a vlog at
Jonah
the
ready to do
function.
some questionable things if you have the right change. Jonah's ready to do something strange for a little piece of change. 18 and up, 21 and up. Nah, because you got to have the 18 and up. We're going to do a function, you feel me, of adults. You feel me?
You remember City Nights?
Yeah, I just hit City Nights. A couple kids not kids, young adults from City Nights keep DMing me like, bro, we need you to perform at City Nights. So I was like, okay. I grew up in City Nights. I've been going. Nice. You ever heard of Glow?
No.
So Glow was the 18 and under that they threw at City Nights. But we used to go to Glow. I went the first time like maybe 12 or 13, and you got to be in high school to get in. So we end up wiggling in, and like when I tell you like. That was like a movie. Like, that was the epitome of San Francisco. Like, seeing all the star athletes lined up. Seeing these, I'm 12 or 13. I kind of hit puberty. But seeing, like, all the women who look grown, like, in there. And just like, oh, my God.
Just had you going? You was like, ready to hop on, but...
I was ready. And then, unfortunately, some discrimination. Too many fights, but some discrimination in there. Happened, you know, and then, you know, they finally kind of got it together when I was at the end of high school, but it was never like the glory days, the young days of eminence. And, you know, we got to bring that back for the kids in a peaceful way, so where they have a place where they can go meet. Because, like, I feel like with social media and all this other stuff, you know, the kids, I feel like you ain't got to really be on it when in person. You could just be on it in social media. I be seeing videos. It's a couple kids who got the Riz, but it's a couple where it's like they'll be in a mall with somebody they're attracted to, and they'll record it and post it on social media, be like, yo, find her for me.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like, bro, go talk to this person. If you get turned down, it is what it is. Like, feel me? All the no's I've got prepared me to get the yeses.
You gotta build up your mouthpiece.
Come on. The kids call it Riz now.
Oh, okay.
Because it's like a charisma. Feel me? And mouthpiece is a part of it. I love how you said that. Feel me? You know what I mean? So... we got to do all of that.
Nah, man. Hey, I appreciate you pulling up.
I appreciate you.
You know, you're always welcome back. I feel like we could just chop it up for hours, to be honest,
come back
man.
Tomorrow?
You can. Let's do it, bro. I'm about this shit. We got to bridge the gap like we're doing.
Let's do it.
Show love. Keep building. Linking and building. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
Keep
Lincoln,
big stepping.
Lincoln, come on. We definitely got to do one, too.
I'm down, man. But shit. Like, comment, subscribe. We out, man.
Hey, don't forget. We still winning.